Will from Practical Performance Car, here with Chris Young and his Mk2 Golf, which is quite different looking. Chris, what's the idea behind this?
Basically, I've always wanted a muscle car myself. I've always been a bit partial to the Dodge Challenger.
Right. Volkswagen didn't make one of those?
No, unfortunately not. So I've never been in the process or ability to get a muscle car, so I thought, right, I'll build my own, because if Volkswagen had built one.
Right.
And I based it on 70s, 60s style NASCAR.
Right. So hence the big steel wheels and the stance.
Yeah. So the wheels themselves actually, these type of wheels were used in the actual NASCAR circuit in the 70s and 80s.
Oh really? What are they then?
Bassett Racing.
Right.
8x15 was a ridiculously wide offset.
Yeah, so I see. They look great. How did you get ones that fit the Volkswagen hub though?
A lot of research, contacted a few companies in the US. Eventually I found the measurements of 4x100 correlate over the US dimensions as well. Right. So after a bit of advice, I worked out the size and stud pattern.
So what would they normally be on? Obviously not a Volkswagen.
Normally stock cars, circle track cars. Some of the guys from the US muscle scene have bought them and cottoned on to the lightweight steels.
Right.
So, yeah, so a lot of cars in the US. I've never seen a set in the UK on a Golf. I've seen them on a Dodge Charger.
Right.
But not a Golf, so
right.
It's a first.
Well, talking about the muscle car theme, obviously a Golf isn't generally known as a muscle car, more of a hot hatch.
Yeah.
But you have pretty well taken this there, haven't you, with what you've put under the bonnet?
I've certainly tried.
You started off with a
VR6.
2.8
VR at start. The first part of its life, it was an 8-valve. I've owned this car since it was a GTI for about 20 odd years now.
Right.
Did a lot of research, loads of mates helped me, converted it to a VR6 from Mk2 Golf.
So you just literally ripped the guts out of the Mk2 Golf and dropped it in?
Well, if I'd been sensible, I would have done that, but I ended up buying an engine, then finding every other part I had to find.
It's much more fun that way.
Yeah, I went through about 4 VR engines.
And much more expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I converted it to a Mark 5 R32. I luckily found.
So that's a 3.2 V6?
Yeah, 3.2, yeah.
And what sort of power does that make?
Average, I think they're about 230 normally.
Right. A lot of torque, I imagine,
yeah,
as well.
It's a bit of an animal. I mean, this doesn't have, I don't have a diff, Pelican diff or anything on it, so it's a bit torque steery.
A bit?
Yeah, just a bit. But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I bet, yeah. And you've kept it 2-wheel drive, it's not 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, 2-wheel drive. Looked into 4-wheel drive systems, but the way the Volkswagen market is at the moment, it was just ridiculous money.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, for a set. So I just thought, well, I'll keep it front wheel for now. See what happens in future if I change again.
Right. The gearbox is standard R32, is it?
It's Mk3 gearbox, Mk3 Golf gearbox.
Right.
2.0. You'd be surprised, a lot of the Mk2 platforms actually can adapt the later model parts.
Right.
I mean, this itself is running a fly-by-wire throttle, which has got a Mk7 Golf R pedal.
So you're still running the Volkswagen management on it?
Yeah,
it's not got an aftermarket ECU?
Standard VW management from an R32. I think it was looked at by a company before I had it, but I can't confirm that. It's been so long since I've built it, I can't remember everything I've actually put into it. But
right?
But it's a lot of VW parts that have gone into it, from subframe to.
So you've tried to use Volkswagen bits
it's best
off the shelf rather than buying aftermarket stuff or making stuff.
Yeah.
But you have gone quite trick with your gear shifter, haven't you?
Yeah. I've always wanted one. I mean, I've been into cars since I was about like 5. And I'd seen a CAE motorsport shifter years ago on a Mark 1 Golf, and I thought that's a bit cool.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's all been built to a budget, this car is. So I found a company in the Netherlands, TR Motoring.
Yeah.
And for half the cost, they built me the shifter to my spec that I wanted for the car.
Right.
So yeah, it's fun to use. It's a very short ratio.
And was it difficult to fit that? Because there's a lot of adjustment on it.
The actual shifter itself, I didn't get any instructions with it, as per usual with parts these days. I had to guesswork, but to be honest, the guy who was in charge of TR, he was brilliant. He kept in touch with me via Instagram, rang me, gave me advice, reckon, and the rest I sort of worked out myself and with the help of mates and stuff. So yeah, but it does the job.
Okay. And what about suspension? What have you done with that?
I'm running AP coilovers all round.
Right.
I had FKs on this for years, and they did fantastic for a budget coilover. And I upgraded to APs recently, and to be honest, the difference was like night and day, because it's a mid-range one. But I was never going to drop the car on the floor again. I've done that. I'm too old for that. So it was comfortable ride but firm. So it was very good.
Right. And what about brakes?
Upgraded from the 8-valve brakes that used to be on it. They've now got G60 spec, so 280mm discs and G60 calipers.
Is that still a big sliding caliper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the upgrade you sort of need rather than paying up for Brembos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The more cost-friendly version of doing it.
Oh yeah. What have you done with the interior, Chris?
Literally ripped it all out.
Oh, well, excellent. No wonder your trip up here was so good.
Yeah, I think I'm slightly deaf as well, to be honest. But,
that's something we need to talk about, because you've got no interior and you've got quite an interesting exhaust.
yeah.
I looked at the back earlier and worried you'd lost an exhaust box on the way up, but you haven't, have you?
No.
So what have you done with it?
I bought an actual boom tube from a company that used to make them for the stock car circuit
Right.
in the 80s. It was baffled. It had 6 baffles in it when I bought it. It was sort of adjust to fit on the car.
Yeah.
I had to speak to them to explain what I need as to what side of the car it wanted to come out because of the cut on it.
Yeah.
And I've never heard somebody more confused than saying it's going on a Golf, it's not going on a stock car. And they're going, what do you mean? I said, it's coming to the UK, you just send them on. Yes, it says it's 6 baffles. I've had to cut it and modify it to fit around the rear beam. It's probably about 4.5 now.
Right.
Welded up. But it's not silenced. It's straight through from the engine.
It does sound quite tasty. Well, as it sounds so tasty, I think we should probably go for a drive.
Yeah, up for that.
Oh, Smokey Unit.
Yeah,
Have you read that book? Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Smokey is one of my heroes. That's from his daughter. That actual thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exhaust's quite loud, isn't
Just a bit. It calms down at about 60, 65, but when you come off and it's on down run, oh my god, it's loud.
it? I think you've got a friendly MOT tester.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for bringing your car along. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. And please do consider supporting Practical Performance Car on Patreon. It costs from just £2 a month. What can you get for £2 a month, Chris?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I think it's probably less than that, actually. So please consider that. Thanks a lot. See you next time.